Just to give you some brief comments on that. Henley and Partners, referred to in the CBS program as the king of passports. He's now trying to distance himself from the CBS program. We'll talk about that and more. Thompson Fontaine is in the house with some new information about one of the ambassadors. But you'll have to wait for a few minutes, 5-10 minutes, because we're making a stop with our good partners, Dominica Brewery. We'll tell you what's going on this weekend. Stick around.
Bring them in, I say, bring them in. Yes, the bottles are coming, and we are happy. Menupaka where the Guinness, the Shandy, and the Malta bottles. Pity fee. Yes, continue menese bouteille la bière one three, but where are the Guinness, the Shandy, and the Malta? Mem consi la bière, every 24 empty $6, and every full crate is $10. Will I oye? Under the potager, in the storeroom, under the cellar, under a step, in the drain, the grass, the highways, the byways. Find them with you, and bring them in. Bring the empty ones, and get your money.
This weekend, all roads lead to the fish capital of Dominica, Soufriere this weekend, Saturday 14th January, Fish and Food Fiesta, Soufriere Boulevard, 5:30 p.m. Come and enjoy a night of fish, Creole fish, steamed fish, fish balls, fish roti and more. Music by the Ecstasy Band. This weekend, Saturday, Fish and Food Fiesta, Soufriere Boulevard, 5:30 p.m. Don't you miss it.
Oh, we are here. I know everybody's glued in there. Of course, our volumes are way up. They want to know what's going on. What's the latest in this passport for sale program there? And, some new twist. We'll talk about that. But let's first say good afternoon to my friend here, Elvis from the Dominica Brewery.
Good afternoon to you, Matt. Happy New Year to you and all your listeners. Of course, it's the first time for the year.
I want to wish you the same and all your staff. Yes.
See.
What's going down this weekend?
Yeah, let me say good afternoon to all our listeners, and as I say, well, Happy New Year to all, and we're special good afternoon to my mom, and sympathies to her as well on the passing of her husband, and of course, all the Esprit family wants to sympathize with you, and on your loss. It's a special good afternoon to my dad, Dan Campbell, and all the family. And of course, my mom and family want to ask you to stay strong. At this time, our prayers are with you. Good afternoon to all my colleagues at Dominica Brewery, Snow Corner, and Fokole. Special good afternoon to Gavi Johnville. Tomorrow, Saturday, is your birthday. We want to wish you all the best on your birthday when it comes around. Tomorrow, Saturday. So, Dominica Brewery and Beverages, wish you all the best on your birthday tomorrow, Saturday. Yes, so let's just run through quickly that reggae is on tonight in Laplane, and that's at the Old School Bar in Laplane. Lily's Hotspot, Fokole, Simon Club and Sports Bar. Look out for this burger and beer in Massac. We have Candy Crush in Portsmouth, Picard Portsmouth, with Karaoke Fridays, reggae at the Hub in Corley Hall. Look out for this as well with the Ultrasong Band. We have Ruby's Gas Station, Portsmouth, free 410. The Urban Garden Cafe comes alive from 4 this afternoon until midnight with your Kobole, free 410. Miss Bell in Salib Bay, Green Light, Portsmouth, Captain's Bar, Campbell, the Palette Bar in Concord, the Manufacturers Association. You can check them out for your Kobole, of course, on special at the Manufacturers Association, the new location, and the Roseau Market. You can check them out there for that. What's happening this afternoon as well with us is Roslyn on the Pottersville Highway, the police headquarters, of course. Police Sports Club, big action this afternoon. Karaoke tonight, and barbecue and your Kobole free 410. You can check them out. Last week, karaoke was massive at the headquarters, along with some domino games. That's on again this Friday. Police headquarters, Roseau. Cyrilla Toussaint, Monjon. Big domino action on tonight, and Cyrilla is known as the Waters Lady. You can check that out as well. You have the Kobe Hole Friday, today Friday with Waters Friday. You can check them out for all the different type of waters at the Kobe Hole. Runners Barbecue, Kinfield. All this is on today, Friday. Look out for tomorrow with this big fish and food fiesta happening in Soufriere. The Bayfront Lime. The Bayfront Lime comes alive tomorrow, Saturday. That's right in front of Nassif. You can check out Mercury and Crew for the Bayfront Lime tomorrow, Saturday from 12. Check them out there for this. We have Simon Club and Sports Bar with Simon Saturday's birthday bash edition. Tomorrow, Saturday, only $10 will get you in C-Square in the house at Simon tomorrow. Coming up at Marboyd's Bar, and it's Marboyd's Bar, and look out for the Harbour Breeze extension of Marboyd's Bar with big bonfire coming up on the 28th of January. Big things with DJ Snow and DJ Midian. That's coming up on the 28th, and also we have GTEC in Granby on the 21st. Look out and listen to hear what's happening with GTEC on the 21st, and we'll tell you a lot more of this and many more in a future program.
You will be in Soufriere tomorrow, huh?
Tomorrow, of course, madam, will be. I just heard you say fish balls. I'll definitely be in Soufriere to have some fish tomorrow, God willing, for this big fish and food fiesta happening in Soufriere tomorrow, Saturday. So massive look out. I'll be juggling around the place, you know. I'll be heading to Bells as well to give my mom the support. Come back and head to Soufriere and eat some fish tomorrow.
Our deepest sympathies.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
All right, stay strong. We're going to come back with Thompson Fontaine and more after this, Dominica. This is Q95. It is Talk on the Block.
This weekend, all roads lead to the fish capital of Dominica. Soufriere this weekend, Saturday 14th January, Fish and Food Fiesta. Soufriere Boulevard, 5:30 p.m. Come and enjoy a night of fish, Creole fish, steam fish, fish balls, fish roti and more. Music by the Ecstasy Band. This weekend, Saturday, Fish and Food Fiesta. Soufriere Boulevard, 5:30 p.m. Don't you miss it.
I don't know where to start. So much information just coming at me here. Thompson, good afternoon to you. How you doing?
Matt, good afternoon. I'm doing well. It's great to be here this afternoon.
Well, a lot of anxious Dominicans out there. I mean, since I broke the news that you'll be talking to me today, I've been getting calls. Matt, can you tell me what is he going to say? How can I know what Thompson is going to say? And calls about this new information surfacing at this time. But Thompson, before we get to your information, let's explore, something that has just come to hand at this point. I've gotten some news releases. First, the Caribbean Citizen by Investment Programs, following a report by 60 Minutes television program in the U.S. Henley & Partners, the globally leading firm in citizenship by investment, is concerned about what they have described as the one-sided image that the report paints of Caribbean citizenship by investment. Henley & Partners has been involved in the region for 20 years and has worked with all Caribbean CBI programs to date. While every program is exposed to certain risks and challenges, the firm is of the view that today the Caribbean Citizenship Program are generally very well run and do not pose a security threat. Okay, it goes on and on. But my point is, here is Mr. What's his name? Kalin speaking on CBS in this exclusive interview, now trying to disassociate himself with the statements that he made. And another press release coming forward this morning is basically saying that Lennox Linton stands alone. That's what the government side is saying now, because Mr. You're laughing. Mr. Kaelin is disassociating himself with some comments he made on that CBS program. Let me share with you, some of the comments that Mr. Kaelin made. They call him the Passport King, made on that CBS program. Let's listen for a minute here.
You probably have more than one credit card, I would assume. And, if Visa doesn't work, MasterCard will do. So I think any wealthy person nowadays should have more than one credit card, and likewise, you'd have more than one passport.
But you need to have some money to do this, to be able to do this.
Absolutely. It's just for wealthy people, of course, yeah. You have to go through a process. You have to apply, and you have to answer a million questions, and you have to undergo a background verification, and you have, at least in the properly run programs, you have to be a reputable person, and that's checked.
But evidently not that carefully. About the only way to identify people who have purchased St. Kitts citizenship is if they happen to turn up on a list of international fugitives or get in trouble with the law. And St. Kitts Nevis has more than its share for two sleepy little islands. Its passport holders include a Canadian penny stock manipulator, a Russian wanted for bribery, a Kazakh wanted for embezzlement, 2 Ukrainians suspected of bribing a UN official, and 2 Chinese women wanted for financial crimes.
I think it's no secret that these islands have made decisions that are not always optimal.
They've taken some bozos, as you would call them.
Yes, exactly.
What about crooks?
Yes, it goes all the way down to crooks, absolutely. And it tended for some time to attract quite a few people that I would never let into the country, but I'm not the government of St. Kitts Nevis.
But you set up their program.
We helped to set up the program, but as it is, advisors advise, ministers decide.
That was the king, huh? The king. They call him the king of passports. I want to play this clip again. And today we're hearing that he's trying to disassociate himself with the statements he made to CBS. So let's listen to Chris again.
A process. You have to apply, and you have to answer a million questions, and you have to undergo a background verification, and you have, at least in the properly run programs, you have to be a reputable person, and that's checked.
But evidently not that carefully. About the only way to identify people who have purchased St. Kitts citizenship is if they happen to turn up on a list of international fugitives or get in trouble with the law. And St. Kitts Nevis has more than its share for two sleepy little islands. Its passport holders include a Canadian penny stock manipulator, a Russian wanted for bribery, a Kazakh wanted for embezzlement, 2 Ukrainians suspected of bribing a UN official, and 2 Chinese women wanted for financial crimes.
I think it's no secret that these islands have made decisions that are not always optimal.
They've taken some bozos, as you would call them.
Yes, exactly.
What about crooks?
Yes, it goes all the way down to crooks, absolutely. And it tended for some time to attract quite a few people that I would never let into the country, but I'm not the government of St. Kitts Nevis.
But you set up their program.
We helped to set up the program, but as it is, advisors advise, ministers decide.
How many do you have?
I have multiple.
So you don't want to tell us how many you have?
There's a few things in my life that I don't talk openly about and I keep for myself. But I'm Swiss originally, and many people think I'm very Swiss, and so I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Thompson Fontaine, what is this big hue and cry about?
Matt, I think the government of Dominica, they're looking for excuses. They're trying to hide behind statements that they themselves are afraid to make. I mean, as the government of Dominica, you have a sovereign program. You said, Prime Minister Keskeris said very clearly that Henley and Partners is not associated with his program. His global partners are the ones that is running the Dominica program.
And they were very upset. I think he said, and I'm looking for that they were very upset that he did not get that contract.
Exactly. So now to try to hide behind a statement, what he's saying in that statement basically saying is that the security concern that the program tried to portray, they don't think is there. But that is not for them to decide. The people who are looking after the interests of the American public on a day-to-day basis, for example, General John Kelly, the man who is going to be the head of the Homeland Security, their only task is to make sure that the U.S. is secure. Here is what he had to say on that same program. Regional economic citizenship programs provide a quick path for foreign nationals to acquire citizenship, and of concern, these cash for passport programs could be exploited by criminals, terrorists, or other nefarious actors to obtain freedom of movement, facilitate entry into the U.S. or launder illicitly gained funds. And his number one legal advisor, the guy who looked at this program, had this to say about the program on the same 60 Minutes program, Peter Vincent. He was the top legal advisor to Homeland Security. He says, in my opinion, the global community has established a very effective global security infrastructure to prevent terrorist attacks. I see these cash for citizenship programs as a gaping hole in that security architecture.
I'm going to help you here to get his own words.
They're not transparent programs. They're not safeguards in place.
Until 2014, Peter Vincent was the top legal advisor for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, part of the Department of Homeland Security, which he says is well aware of all the vulnerabilities. In fact, the person in line to take over Homeland Security, General John F. Kelly, expressed concern in a report last year that cash for passport programs could be exploited by criminals, terrorists, or other nefarious actors.
Does that present a security threat, do you think? It does. In my opinion, the global community has established a very effective global security architecture to prevent terrorist attacks. I see these cash for citizenship programs as a gaping hole in that security architecture.
Just what you said.
Yeah, exactly, Matt. So it's not CBS that is saying that. The people whose job it is to keep the U.S. safe, they have told us clearly that these programs are a threat to their security. That's not for Henley and Partners to decide. Henley and Partners are selling passports. They're making money. They're not looking at the security aspect of this thing. The people who are concerned, the U.S. authorities at the very highest level, the man is in charge. The man that reports directly to the President of the United States is telling us that those programs are a threat to their country. Who is Henley and Partners to say otherwise, or scary to say otherwise? They know what they're talking about. And I don't think that we should be debating that. It is clear, it is. And Matt, as we go through this afternoon, people will see how it can be exploited, how it has been exploited by Dominica's reckless behavior of selling diplomatic passports. And that is something, Matt, that the world is not happy about. So this statement
from Henley and Partners, this current, if you will, statement makes no sense.
It makes no sense. They're not competent to speak about the security concerns of the U.S. The U.S. authorities tell them that they are concerned. Henley and Partners cannot say that the U.S. should not be concerned.
You don't expect them to say anything else?
Because they know, the U.S. authorities know, Matt, they're seeing the criminals coming across. They're seeing the diplomatic passports being issued. They know what is happening with Dominica and with St. Kitts and with Antigua. They're the ones that I would listen to, not Henley and Partners.
All right, let's of course connect with Thompson Fontaine. I know you're waiting for the information here this afternoon. When we come back, stick around.
Where will the beat lead you for Carnival 2017? Buyo, Kais, Okada, Soka. Register with Hysteria Mass today at 21 Hanover Street.
Have to get in because this red not missing me. It's not and the Triple K International, powered by GX Songs and Lights. Hysteria Mass, your ultimate carnival experience. For Mass Dominic, you better register with them today. Sponsored by Flow.
This weekend, all roads lead to the fish capital of Dominica. Sufria this weekend, Saturday 14th January, Fish and Food Fiesta. Sufria Boulevard, 5:30 p.m. Come and enjoy a night of fish, Creole fish, steamed fish, fish balls, fish roti and more. Music by the Ecstasy Band. This weekend, Saturday, Fish and Food Fiesta. Sufria Boulevard, 5:30 p.m. Don't you miss it.
Now sit back and listen. So, Thompson Fountain, what is the new information surfacing about this passport scandal?
Well, Matt, I have for the Dominican public some more information on a diplomat, a Dominican diplomat, Dominican ambassador by the name of Eric Turner. Now, Eric Turner was Dominica's ambassador to UNESCO from 2006. We know that because a question was asked in Parliament in November of 2006, asking the government of Dominica to give us the names of all the diplomats that were issued diplomatic passports and who were representing Dominica interests overseas. And Eric Turner was listed along with 5 other French nationals who at the time had diplomatic passports and were serving in the UNESCO office. Now, what has happened, Matt, is that this Eric Turner is now wanted by Interpol. He's a fugitive, and the embassy in Dominica that was supposed to be our Dominican embassy, which was really the home that Eric Turner rented there in right next to the Tour Eiffel in Paris. In fact, the building is really surrounds the Tour Eiffel, and this has been seized by the French police. So the Dominican offices of UNESCO have been seized by the French police, and Eric Turner is missing.
Repeat that. Let's start that again, Thompson, because it's just raising a few eyebrows. Let's just repeat that. So
yes,
the people of Dominica can really understand
exactly what's going on. Yeah. So Eric Turner, a gentleman that we believe was one of those who purchased, one of the early purchasers of his diplomatic passport, a French businessman serving as Dominica's ambassador to UNESCO. To UNESCO and Monaco, in fact, and because we know that he was also introduced as Dominica's ambassador to Monaco. So let me kind of back up there. So Eric Turner is our ambassador from 2006. He suddenly disappears in 2015, and we found out that he's actually wanted by the police. We also found out that the building that he was using as an office, where he kept meetings and so on, as a Dominican representative, that has been seized by the French police, and they're looking for Eric Turner. Another individual that is looking for Eric Turner, and is somebody that Dominicans will know very well. In fact, I'm putting together a story on this that will come out on Monday, is an artist, a South African artist by the name of Gabrielle Leroux. Gabrielle Leroux was in Dominica in 2001. And she painted 10 portraits. She painted 10 portraits of the people who had made the 100 years, including Mapampo, right? And she had the exhibit at the Old Mill Cultural Center. She then took that exhibit to Uganda, to South Africa, to England, and to the Netherlands. And then she decided it would be nice, UNESCO and culture and so on, to display these portraits at the French embassy, at the Dominican embassy, UNESCO embassy in Paris. So she loaned the portraits to Mr. Eric Turner, our ambassador. Now, in 2014, she goes back, in 2015, Gabrielle goes back to the embassy to collect her portraits after trying repeatedly to reach Mr. Turner by phone. She flies from South Africa to Paris to retrieve her portraits. She goes to the embassy there, and she realized that the embassy where her portraits were being displayed previously has not been turned into a shop. She contacts the concierge of the building, who tells her, well, the embassy of Dominica has moved, but they have no forwarding address. She then goes to the home of Eric Turner, where she'd met him previously, and that was when she was told that Eric Turner is wanted by the police, and that all of his personal effects have been seized by the police. She made contact with me in Dominica at that time, and then we launched a search for Mr. Eric Turner, our ambassador. After all, he's our ambassador. He's Dominica's ambassador. We launched a search. We traced an Eric Turner to an address in London. And in London, I had somebody go and actually knock on his door in London. The person, when they knocked on Eric Turner's door, a female voice answered through the intercom and said that Eric was not there. He would be coming back. The individual went back the following day, and then this lady, the same lady, told him, no, Eric Turner does not live there, which was kind of curious in itself. I gave the address to Miss Leroux, the artist. She went herself there to this address in London. The concierge of that building, again, the person in charge of that runs, the manager of that apartment building, told her that Mr. Turner just stepped out like 2 minutes ago. He just, he just stepped out of the building and so on, and said to come in and so on. And then he talked to her, and then she left her phone number with the people that she was staying by in London. She said by the time she gets to her home, they had called ahead and said that Eric Turner has left that building over a year ago. So that is where it lies. We still don't know where Eric Turner is. The artist still does not have her portraits. That is a cultural heritage of Dominica. She invested a lot of time and effort and energy to capture in portrait, life-size portraits of Dominica's oldest people who had lived long to sell a message, and we don't know where Eric Turner is. And as part of my investigation, Matt, we actually wrote to the government of Monaco, inquiring, thinking that they would probably know where the ambassador is, since he was the ambassador. And I have here the letter from the embassy of Monaco, from the government of Monaco. And basically saying, it is in French, but basically they're saying that in response to your letter, we have the honor to tell you that Mr. Turner left the functions of ambassador of the Commonwealth of Dominica since the 23rd of July 2015. Also, we regret to tell you that the Department of Relations, the External Affairs Department, does not have the address of Mr. Turner. Okay, so that's another ambassador, Matt, that we are concerned about the name of Dominica, about the embarrassment being brought. And that's why we continue to call on this government of Dominica to come clean. You recall that we asked in the last sitting of Parliament who our ambassadors were, whose appointments have been revoked. And that very simple question cannot be answered by this government. And the question remains why. And we see these are some of the reasons why. This is a big embarrassment to the people of Dominica, that a man who is supposed to be serving us in UNESCO, now the embassy is closed, the property has been seized, and our ambassador is on the run from the police.
Very interesting. Yes? This is Q95. I'm gonna take a few phone calls here. Hello, talk to me.
Hello, Matt.
Yes. Mola.
And bad. Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Happy New Year. Many returns. Everything.
Thank you.
Right. Thompson, you see when you put bubbles in a country, you see how the country coming too? If you watch Roseau, none of the passport money never spent. It's just buying buildings, buying houses, putting up gas, jacking up everything, and Scary they're hiding. And Scary telling you, he's sending Tony, he's sending that one, and Tony in a riot, Simeon in a riot, all of them in riot right now for that passport money. Because if you watch, Lennox Lawrence was in thing on Monday, And Lennox Lawrence, they're trembling while he guys giving a speech for him to build a hotel in Boso because he know the hotel not true.
Is it Lennox Lawrence you want to say? Or you want to say Alec Lawrence?
Lennox Lawrence, they was in the House of Assembly on Tuesday. They blocked the road and they causing all that difficulties in the country. And now, so let me give it to you in patois. Vole, chien kay morde ou rien pas ka chebe chien because yo même c'est chien ini pour morde yo. So right now yo ni pour chebe dou la yo. E fait sorti en pays ya. Ba moun ki sa koui pays ya because son gang vole ki la.
I'm back. You go easy there on that one, okay? Because you have to prove that what you're saying. Thompson, there's some concern as it relates to the agents. The agents themselves are now becoming investors. So you go out and sell a passport, but themselves are becoming the big investors that we're talking about and we're seeing. What are your own thoughts on that?
Matt, that raises a lot of troubling questions, because, as an agent, you go out, you sell the passports, and then you use Dominica's money to build a property. Now, does that property belong to you, or does it belong to the Dominican people? That's the kind of questions that I think that needs to be asked. Given that the monies have been used, all the monies to that project are coming from the sale of passport, which is a public good. And the question is, why is that practice allowed to happen? Why?
How much money is being made? I mean, let's be fair. How much money is being made by these agents? I mean, is it out there on the table?
We don't know, Matt, because the agents, we are told it could be anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 per passport that the agents make. We simply don't know. Every agent is allowed to charge his own fee, separate and distinct.
$3,000 only?
Well, it depends. They don't release their information.
Should that be made? I mean, should that be made public?
Not only should it be made public, but I believe that the fees should be the same for all the agents. The fees should be set by the government, and every agent should be able to charge the same fee. But the way it is now, every agent can use his own discretion, set the fees that he thinks the market can take, and people are making exorbitant amounts of money from the sale of those passports. And you also have the prospect of agents fronting for other people. And that is something that I think that we need to be concerned about as well. So, Matt, any way you look at it, this whole CBI program, in addition to the big security threat it poses for the U.S. government, the sale of Dominican passports, diplomatic passports that is unheard of, that the world has never seen, a practice that is new for the rest, and other people simply cannot understand why our government is engaged in that practice. And even going back as far back as 2006, when you recall Leroy Parrish, the guy who was largely responsible for the demise of CLICO. And he had a diplomatic passport. He tried to get a visa from the U.S. Embassy, and the U.S. Embassy sent it back to the government of Dominica, saying, why is this individual, a Bajan citizen, being made an ambassador of Dominica? So from way back, this has been happening. We have the likes of Susan Oldie, as we said. There's another gentleman by the name of František Savoy, that was nominated to be our ambassador to Slovakia. And Matt, I've started online, and that's one of the things when I contacted you earlier, I wanted to actually do, because some people think, or the government would like people to believe that we make up those things. I wanted to show documents from the very same Ministry of External Affairs, writing in some cases to different governments. Like we have, for example, this 76-year-old former Nazi, and convicted bank robber, spent 5 years in a Belgian jail for bank robbery in the 1980s, being suggested or being asked for the letter of agreement by the government of Ireland for this guy to be our ambassador. And we have all of those documents. It has the stamp of the Ministry of Finance. It has the name. It has the CV of this individual. Of course, leaving out the part that he was a bank robber and a Nazi. That was left out. But obviously, the Irish embassy did not accept this application. They turned it down. We had the other instance.
So the letter was coming from our own finance?
From the own Ministry of External Affairs. basically is writing. They say, well, we are suggesting to you this individual, Boseng, to be our Dominica's ambassador to Ireland. And the Irish government said, hell no, they're not going to have this individual to be on their diplomatic roles. So we have this evidence there, and we have the evidence, Matt, also. This other letter, this gentleman, he did not become the High Commissioner, but he wrote to the Prime Minister begging to be our High Commissioner in Hong Kong. And within 3 weeks of his letter to the Prime Minister, he wires $50,000 to Hartley Henry in Barbados. $50,000 US. Why we have evidence of the wire transfer that was made to Hartley Henry within 3 weeks of him writing to request that he be made the High Commissioner to Hong Kong.
He wired
$50,000 US. He went through a US bank, so we have the information. When you think about it, when you think about what the depths to which these guys have been embroiled with crooks, with shallaraks and banditis and thieves, you really fear for Dominica. What has this government done to our country? And that is the embarrassment that we are facing on the worldwide scene. And I hear apologists for this government saying, oh, well, show me the proof, show me that this government has sold this. The government of Dominica is selling our diplomatic passports, plain and simple. They have been doing it since 2004, and they continue to do it.
From your count?
Matt, no, that's a good question. Let me give you some evidence. Let me give you some specifics. This particular parliamentarian, right, in October of 2010, he got his diplomatic passport, because all parliamentarians supposed to get a diplomatic passport. I have a diplomatic passport, for full disclosure, as a parliamentarian. Okay? In October of 2010, his passport number was 229. Okay? October. When he renewed 5 years later, in January of 2016, he had a passport number of 486. So between October 2010 and January of 2016, a total of 227 diplomatic passports were issued. Okay? 227 diplomatic passports were issued. Now, when you think that there are a handful of parliamentarians, 31 parliamentarians to be exact, you probably have an additional 10 or so bona fide ambassadors and so on, no more than 50, 60 passports. You have 227 passports. Who are these passports going to? Who are these individuals? And I just happened to be online the other day, and I saw a guy, Jonathan Brown, with a website, Ambassador at Large, a businessman in Florida. He's saying that he has a diplomatic passport. He's representing Dominican interests in Florida. And as you search the web, you're coming across people. Some of them, as I said, they're scoundrels, crooks, criminals, banditis, and
so you have no doubt there are a lot of criminals and crooks out there.
Absolutely, man, because these are the people, the Eric Toners of the world, the scam artists who are out there looking for that kind of cover. They want cover, the Corrales of the world, this woman, Alison Madueke. These are the scoundrels. And when you hear, for example, the Prime Minister comes on radio and tells us that he did not know that Madueke had issues. I mean, just before she left office, it was all in the newspapers. They discovered a fraud of $20 billion missing in her ministry. And what happened? She fired the governor of the central bank, because he was the one who brought it to light. Instead of taking the hit, she fired him because she had the support of the president, Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan. And that was all in the newspapers. They had found her home. Her bodyguard stole $23 million from her house and went overseas. All of that was published reports. Alison Madueke was accused of siphoning on her own $2 billion. These were all reported in the press. And our Prime Minister goes to a press conference and says he had no knowledge that this woman was a woman looking for a passport to escape the law of Nigeria. That's what we have today. And when the U.S. authorities express concerns about their security, we need to take notice. They're not taking this lightly.
Let's take a few phone calls before we wrap it up. This is just becoming mind-boggling as we move forward. Hello.
Gentlemen and the listening public, good afternoon. Fountain, welcome.
Thank you.
At the first part of it, you see why my curiosity was to ask you who is our ambassador. You told me Dominica have plenty.
Yes.
The next point on the first thing, umpire has declared no ball. Whether you run, you can score runs. Go back to the drawing board and come again. Playing smart, but not being clever. They can do what they want. The more they wiggle, the deeper they sink. Program, have a blessed afternoon, everybody. Thanks.
Have a blessed afternoon. Let's take another phone call here.
Matt, good afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Fontaine, when the question was asked in Parliament, how many diplomats did they say they had?
They refused to answer. But in 2006, they gave us a list of about, I think, 9 or so diplomats. That was in 2006.
Okay, that's interesting. But the question I have, Matt, is how many people does Skerrit have to make ambassadors or attempt to make ambassadors, and they just keep ending up in jail or being wanted? How many coincidences does he have to have before he admits that there's something wrong with his choices? Good afternoon.
All right, that would be a question to Skerrit. It's 1:49.
Absolutely, Matt. And the people making those choices are the people who have everything to hide. You know, they're the ones that this passport program is attracting. And we have agents selling. It's there, you know. There is a site that's been posted all over the internet of a site, website of an agent in Dominica saying...
But somebody's suggesting here that we should make the clear distinction between the CBI program and the diplomatic program.
Yes, absolutely. The sale of diplomatic passports is not part of the CBI program. We are very clear about that. It's not part of the CBI program. So we have concerns both with the CBI program and with the sale of the diplomatic passports. Dominica, as far as I know, is the only country that is selling its diplomatic passports. The only country. And it is selling it to crooks and criminals, and that is a problem for us.
A caller, you there?
Yes, that's right, Matt. Good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon, Dr. Kofonte. Matt, I have come to the conclusion that the opposition is the government. You cannot tell me, you and Dr. Thompson Fontaine, the government refuses, the present government refuses to give us information with respect to our diplomatic passport. Here it is that the opposition, Senator Fontaine, Dr. Fontaine could go and get that information and tell them we can the truth.
I don't know what went on with your telephone, but you can choose to call back. Hello.
Hello, yes. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi.
To attest to what Thompson was saying, in 1999 we had gone to Paris, and we went to the Eiffel Tower, and I witnessed that building with that huge Dominican flag, and I kept wondering, what building is that? 99, I remember that well.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, the building is
the building.
Yeah,
it's
no
right.
more?
It's right next to. It's no more. It's on the police. The police seized, and the fear that. In fact, I spoke to the artist, to Gabrielle, even this morning. We're on a Skype call, and the fear that she has is that her paintings might have been seized. Now she has a problem at the time, and that's where it gets tricky because Eric Toner is a Dominican diplomat. You cannot report him to the police. You cannot report, just go and report him, report a crime. A crime has been committed. Your portraits are missing. She had to write to a different group that looks at diplomats and so on, and hopefully they will get to the bottom of it. But the fact that she is very distraught over the loss of her portraits. She wants it back.
Okay, hello, talk to me.
Good evening, Matt.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Fontaine.
Yes, good evening.
Matt, do we need more evidence now? Because every time we hear Skerrit defenders talk, they ask for evidence. But Matt, my concern is, when will Dominicans understand that this country is being run by a set of criminals? Matt, I have a friend in America who works in Homeland Security. I got to know him through my port security contact. And he says to me that, what is a little country like Dominica doing with so many diplomats? And why do we have some such people of disrepute carrying our diplomatic passport? And we've seen it, Matt. Matt, early days, Angelo Allen exposed MV Lapsang. Matt, the car that was given to Mr. Skerrit by MV Lapsang, it is now parked. If there was nothing wrong, he would be driving it, Matt. Matt, and CBS don't have to report to us, CBS knows everything that's happening with our passport and who the holders are. And they will expose it in time. Matt, it is just a matter of time before we in Dominica can travel to any international country. Have a good day, man.
Have a good day. We're going to take a call there from the overseas line. Hello.
Hi, Matt. How you doing? Hi,
how you doing?
Yes. I just got two questions. Mr. Fontaine is kind of, I see you're throwing one of your chief campaign donor under the bus today. I wonder why, which is Henley and Partners.
I don't know Henley and Partners. I have absolutely knowledge of who these people are. All I'm concerned about is the name of my country. So I could care two hoots about who Henley and Partners. I have absolutely no concern or care about these individuals. These are people making the money. I'm concerned about the image of my country. So please don't tell me about throwing anybody under the bus. I don't know who the hell these people are. What I know is that our country is under threat by the behavior of this government. That's what I know, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Caller, you there?
Why you didn't come out with that story last week?
What story?
Partner, what story are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I have absolutely no knowledge of what you're talking about. Okay, if you have information, send it to me. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. What I'm concerned about is the image of our country. I don't know about anybody under the bus. My country is what I care about. And right now, my country is not having a good time in the international community. We are selling our diplomatic passports to crooks and criminals, and we need to stop it. And that's what I'm concerned about.
Are you there, caller?
Mr. Fontaine, you're not letting me talk, Mr. Fontaine. Give me a chance to talk.
Listen to you, sir. You started.
Let me find.
Listen. He started by making a false premise. He said, "I'm throwing people on." I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Because he did say Thompson that Henley and Partner. He's suggesting that he was a campaign, or they were campaign financiers for the United Workers.
I have absolutely knowledge of that, man. I came into politics in 2014. I don't know who these people are. I have absolutely no knowledge. Direct a question to your partner, not to me.
All right. Are you there, caller?
Matt.
Yes.
Matt, can you just give me a little time? It's Friday. Let me go back and forth with him.
No. Hold on.
We're not talking about Henley and Partners this afternoon. We are concerned. No, that's not the topic for discussion. The topic of discussion is not about Henley and Partners. Please, I will not entertain it.
You heard he said he will not entertain any questions about Henley and Partners. That's his view. 155. Hello. Yeah.
Matt, what I see is Dominica needs. A few years back, the government that we had to set up inquiries for certain allegations. I believe the people of Dominica need to put their boots on the ground and get the government to set up an inquiry. And if you go back to the song of Hurricane, you would play it for the Dominicans, you know. We need an inquiry so then everything will be set in place.
I'm going to try to find the leader of the party to deal with the question there. He just called me and said, Matt, let me deal with that question about Henley and Partners. All right, we're actually trying to get to the leader of the United Workers' Party. Read the question posed by the caller there. Just hold on there while we try. Of course, all the telephone lines are locked up here in the afternoon. We can well understand why. Okay, let's take another phone call there. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Fontaine, in response to the caller, the evidence we have is that Henley and Partners is still to the government. At least if they don't know, the people they're dealing with is dealing directly with Henley and Partners. So either they don't know or they're lying.
All right, thank you very much there. Hello. Hello, talk to me here.
Hi, Matt. Hi, Dr. Fontaine.
Uh-huh.
that last caller obviously is coming from overseas. And these people concerned about our security, and they're worried about why are people so selfish? Just this morning, it was announced that President Obama just passed an executive order to revoke that policy, that wet foot, dry foot policy for Cuba, okay? He's got 6 more days to do some more damage, and that's including expelling everybody from the UN that's attached to Dominica, to tell them to wheel and come back again. Bye.
Yes, I try to get Mr. Lennox Linton. Just a few minutes there. But go ahead, Thompson. You want to make a point?
But I want to be very clear. My concern is Henley and partners are doing what they're doing because the government allows them to do that, right? My concern is the government of Dominica. I believe everything that is wrong with the sale of diplomatic passports is at the foot of the government of Dominica, and that is where I want it to lie. And that is just a distraction about Henley and partners, what they did in the past. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about the fact that today, our diplomats carrying this red Dominican passport. You know, and Matt, interestingly enough, I was in Guadeloupe just this week, and when I gave the guy my passport, he looked at it and he said, "Whew, Dominique." In a kind of a way, and I looked at him.
Very sarcastic?
Yeah, very sarcastic. He looked at the red passport and I was like, Dominique. You know, so we have that, you know, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. And you know, and the government needs to correct that, you know, and this season of greed that we've seen in Dominica, where people, you know, $1 million is not enough. You have to make 5, 10, 20. When you get 20, you want 20 more. I mean, this season of greed needs to stop. And we need to really put our, you know, help this country develop and move from where it is. Dominica is not going anywhere. And you have people getting ridiculously rich. It's not right. It's not fair. And they're doing it because they are where they are. And it's not right. And that's why, Matt, that is my crusade. That's what I'm prepared to talk about and to fight the fight on.